成長かユナイテッドエンパイア。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアのちょっと応援してくれるってよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, King Rome, the reigning and defending Broken Predictions champion. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing excellent.
Yeah, man, you're holding gold. You got to be doing good, right?
You know, when you are the best, you know, you roll with the best, you eat the best, you're living the best life you can. It just leads to championship gold, my friend.
Absolutely. What's up, Coog? Welcome, Coach Nick as well. What's up, guys? Here we are tonight for our AEW Rampage. This is episode number 119 of the Broken Tables podcast. Coach, you have not seen it yet? Yeah, you said you weren't going to watch it live. It was a good episode, man. It was actually really good, so check that out. And, Coach, remember, I believe you are the number one contender at the moment for Rome's Broken Predictions Championship, so keep your ear out for our booking coming up soon. All right, tonight we started out in Laredo, Texas with the Trios Championship, the Elite versus Top Flight with AR Fox. And, you know, I thought it was going to be cheesy at first, you know, however they were going to do this promotion of the All-Star game. But I actually really loved everybody just kind of having a basketball and a t-shirt. I thought it added a lot to the match. And Jericho kind of pouting, being like, I guess basketballs are legal for this match. You know, I actually really enjoyed this. What did you think?
Oh no, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really cool, really well done. It's another key partnership showcase here with WBD. Not only do they have AEW going on right before their All-Star game, you know, they have a lot of fanfare, a lot of advertising for it. Like you said, all the wrestlers, they had the All-Star shirts, basketballs. I really loved how much that they did, but they didn't overdo it, in my opinion. I thought it was great for them to do the tip-off. You had Rick Knox with a whistle. Thought that was really awesome.
Yeah.
I do want to give the Laredo crowd a big shout-out, because one of my favorite parts of this match, which was not planned, was so the Elite call a timeout. So they roll out of the ring, timeout, basketball. And they're all like huddled up. They go back out, and the crowd starts chanting defense like they're at a basketball game.
Yes. Oh yes.
And I was
absolutely.
Like, that was perfect. That was so good. But yeah,
For a second,
I thought this was a really, really good match.
So do I. And that chant you were talking about, the defense match, the defense chant. For a second, I was like, are they chanting defense like we're at a basketball game? And I was like, this is the best crowd. I absolutely love this. This is amazing. And when Nick tried to call the timeout, that was I was laughing hysterically at Nick calling the timeout. That was great.
Yeah. It was just awesome. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, we got another Top Flight versus Elite match. I'm sure you can just kind of picture all the spots in this one, but we got a one-winged angel to Darius for the finish. Excellent start to Rampage. I thought this was fantastic. And, because of Dynamite, I was really looking for anything weird happening in this match. I was looking for somebody in the crowd, or I was looking for the screen to flicker again. And once the match ended, I was like, okay, are we going to Are we going to go lights out? And before I even finished my thought, the lights turned out. And the lights come back on, and we have Brody King and Malachi Black standing up on the ramp. So this is definitely the House of Black finally making their challenge or making it known that they want to be next in line for these trios titles.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we saw it last Wednesday, and there was a little bit of a setup when the House of Black attacked Cutler, Brandon Cutler, like a month or two ago. It's going to be a really good feud. I think this is going to be something really awesome.
Oh yeah, it's going to be excellent. Coog with that nice basketball emote, nice. All right, next up we had the Guns backstage with Lexi Nair, and I gotta say, like, a lot of people are not happy that the Guns have been made the champs, and that's out of their control at this time. I thought they killed this promo, right? So all the stuff aside of the Acclaim losing the titles, but this promo, I thought the Guns actually killed it here. Did you think this was good as well?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was
Killed
good.
It is relative for them, not compared to
Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about it. It was really short, but I think that's just the Rampage TV slot that they were given. But I think they maximized their seconds absolutely. I mean, they put themselves over while
welcome to the Gun Show.
Claim saying like, well, of course they don't want to actually do like a 1-on or a 2-on-2 rematch. They want to do they want to slide themselves into an easy win so they can kind of sneak into a win. Thought that was great. I thought it was great that the Guns also said they weren't afraid of whoever's gonna fill up the slots on the 4-way dance. I thought it was really good. It did its job. I think the Guns are doing really well right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up we had, I think, one of my favorite segments of the night, if not my favorite segment of the night. Orange Cassidy being interviewed by the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. And I don't know what this location was. I don't know if it was supposed to be Orange Cassidy's house or what, but it was like, I don't know if you've ever seen Melrose Place back in the day. It came on after Beverly Hills 90210. Showing my age there again. But it was like the pool outside of an apartment, like a really nice apartment complex where they have the pool in the middle. Not too sure where that was, but it was really nice. And Wheeler Yuta comes up to interrupt the interview, and I absolutely love how they talked about their past being in the Best Friends together. And Wheeler Yuta was like, you replaced me by a literal clown and blah, blah, blah. Like, this was fantastic. I can't wait to see this match between these two. I know you're amped for this one.
Yeah, so what we're seeing here is it's funny to me because like as I watch AEW, right? Like we do the podcast and I say who my guys are, right? I've made it clear who Rome's guys and girls are, right? I'm just like, these are my people. These are my AEW people. These are the people that I want to get behind. I want to see them on TV. I think the world of them. And I just find it funny that the people that I get behind are the people that, are fucking killing it in the company. They're all over the company. As time goes on. So I am gonna, number one, fuck yeah. These are two of my guys going at it, and I just think this is fucking awesome. I really love this promo. This was absolutely my favorite part of the show. Again, like you said, kind of just going into the history of it, where you have Wheeler saying like you let Trent bully me, and now I'm the bully. I really liked this interaction because Wheeler is working as a heel here. And I think that really fits the dynamic of how he's the one that left the Best Friends. So even though I don't consider the Blackpool Combat Club heels, Wheeler was working the heel here. And I thought that was really awesome. The thing that I really loved was how they both wanted different things from their time together. Wheeler was like, you guys didn't teach me anything. Now look at me. I left you guys, and now I'm a champion. I've learned all this stuff from Mox and Danielson and Claudio and Regal and all this stuff. It's like, and Orange Cassidy was like, I wasn't there to teach you. I was there to be your best friend. And I was like, fuck. It's so good. This was excellent. This was absolutely excellent. I thought Wheeler Yuta, as good as I thought his MJF stuff was, I thought this was his best work on the mic in a promo. I think Orange Cassidy once again killed it. Like, this is the Orange Cassidy when we would fight and we would argue, and I would say, like, this is the guy, man. He's could very easily be the guy. If they gave him the ball, he could run with it. And that was that Orange Cassidy, which we've seen over the last few months since he won the All Atlantic Championship. This was incredible.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. And Wheeler Yuta calling Danhausen a clown. I think there's a curse in Wheeler Yuta's future and possibly a punch to the groin. So we'll see how that goes for him.
Well, I do also think that it's also really good. I would expect Orange Cassidy to win the match on Dynamite on Wednesday. And I think that is some beautiful long-term storytelling here, because if you remember, Wheeler, he left that game. He left them. He turned on them. He left them. And to my recollection, I don't think they ever got that revenge on him. Well, not the revenge. Yeah, revenge. They never got back at him for turning his back on them. So I think that this Wednesday is a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next up we had Ricky Starks versus Daniel Garcia. And all the JAS stuff aside, this was a great match. You know what I mean? A lot of us are really burnt out on this entire Jericho Appreciation Society storyline, but if you kind of try to ignore all the storyline stuff that you've been getting tired of, this was a great match. I thought these two had a fantastic match. I'm not sure what else to say there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, while I do think this was the weakest part of the show, I still thought it was a very solid match. I mean, it's what you expect. If I told you that Ricky Starks and Daniel Garcia were going to go out and have a match on Rampage in the middle of the show, what we got was pretty much what I say you would expect from those guys in that time slot. It was a good match, solid match. It was a fun match. But I mean, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was fine. So Garcia basically targeted Ricky Stark's knee the entire match. There was one point where he had him in the sharpshooter, and Sammy Guevara showed up to pull the ropes away from Ricky Starks while he was reaching for the ropes. Action Andretti came out for the save. Well, not really for the save, but just to kind of beat up Sammy. The ref was looking right at Sammy when he grabbed the ropes. You know what I mean? So he was either going to get thrown out by the ref, or Andretti started beating his ass and he beat him down the ramp back to the back. After this, I thought this was a great finish here. We got a spear and then a Rochambeau basically on one leg from Ricky Starks, and he picks up the 1, 2, 3. I thought this was great. And then Sammy Guevara had to jump on the mic and, I don't want to say ruin it, but he demands a match with Action Andretti and basically demands it from Tony Khan. And, we don't get to see that often. We don't hear people, say Tony Khan's name often. And I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way having Sammy do it. Did it come off to you that way?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's very well known in kayfabe that Tony Khan is always listening, and yeah, I didn't really have an issue with it so much. I do wonder if the Revolution match, because we know that they're building up for Revolution, I wonder if they're just going to do a straight up singles match, because they already have a stipulation match on the card with the Texas Death Match.
Yeah.
I really kind of think that Jericho Starks needs some sort of stipulation, but I'm worried that they're not going to go that route.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And yes, Coach, Ricky did do his rope walk. Absolutely. I don't know where it's gonna go. I just hope it's finished at that point. And I hope we actually get like a break from the Jericho Appreciation Society for a little bit. Maybe we focus on Hager or something like that. But yeah, we definitely need a break from these guys for a little while. All right, next up we had an awesome promo video package from Evil Uno. I'm talking about, he's bringing respect back to the name of the Dark Order, and I'm all about it. This is like day one or year one, whatever you want to call it, Evil Uno. And it almost felt like he's finally taking the reins and going to be the leader of the Dark Order. Did it feel that way to you at all?
I would just like to say, welcome the fuck back, Evil Uno.
Yes.
To the adults table. Pull up a seat, sit down, now we can work. We could work with this. Obviously, I thought what happened on Wednesday was really good as well. But yeah, I think that this was the side of Evil Uno you need to see. He's like, I'm Brody's number one. I was Brody's number one, and
That
that's
was the line that got me. I was like, yes, that was the freaking line right there.
right. But no, I thought that this was the first thing that Evil Uno has done in
In a
forever.
while. It's
Yeah,
like a year.
forever. That was good. And I think that people are going to underestimate him going into the match not. But I would expect that to be a really good match.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good match. All right, next up we had Jade Cargill versus Vert Vixen, and just an absolute squash in every sense of the word. Did this girl even get a punch in on Jade? She just pump kicked this girl, put her up into Jaded, and smashed her face into the mat. It was wham bam. Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
Yeah, it's a shame. I like Red Vixen.
Yeah, I know, me too. I thought the same thing, but at the same time, I was just like, yeah, let's keep pushing Jade. Let's keep doing it.
I was
You know,
bummed
and-
because I didn't get to figure out what her. I think her gear was GameCube inspired, so she's been wearing each time she's been on AEW, her gear has been like a different console themed. Whereas like she had like a PS5 gear the one night, and then it was like Xbox.
Oh,
the
that's
next
cool.
night. Yeah, so I didn't get a good enough look at it because of how fast it was, but I think it was GameCube inspired because I
I
believe
think it was. I was gonna say it was purple, so
it was purple, and then it had a red, and like a greenish blue, and then two gray spots, which would be the GameCube's face, the buttons on the face of the controller.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, it makes sense.
So I think it was a GameCube inspired. So I mean, I like Vert Vixen. I'm hoping that this is her getting more spots or more opportunities in AEW. Maybe she can, we can see her more.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. All right, and then next up was time for the main event promos with Mark Henry. Dustin and Swerve both cut their pre-recorded video package promos, and I absolutely love the new format of these. Dustin's face was painted like Darby Allin, and I absolutely loved this face paint on Dustin. It was red, obviously, but it had a very, when Darby Allin does the paint for a pay-per-view and it's like a tree and like just, extra looks like it was done to it. That looked really cool. Did you see that?
Yeah, it looked good. I feel like he did that intentionally because he knew what he was gonna be doing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Coach Nick asking what's on my shirt. It is the Dynamite 2-year anniversary.
2-year anniversary.
We were at the 2-year anniversary Dynamite here in Philly.
And I'm sure I know you're not wondering, but I got the CMFTR outfit on, Coach. Yeah. So now that I think about it, actually, these weren't video packages like they were the past few weeks. These were live interviews again, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say this was the first
You know
week
what?
back with the old format, and I prefer this.
Yeah. I just kind of said it out of habit, but yeah, now that I think about it, I was like, wait a minute, it was the live interview again.
Yeah. I
So
really
yeah, those
enjoy it. I
those were live, and man, Dustin doing the hell is coming and I'm coming with it quote from Tombstone was incredible. I was like, Dustin, man, the best Rhodes of all time by far. That was such a good promo by Dustin right there. I loved it.
It was, and I feel bad because I love Dustin Rhodes very much. But the problem is, I can't support Dustin Rhodes because by supporting him, I'm supporting him defending his brother, and his brother ain't shit. But no, Dustin was awesome here. It was so good. Dustin is so good.
He really is. This match, man. So as Dustin's walking down to the ring, Parker Boudreau gets sent up the ramp to try to attack him, but Dustin has, you could see just the handle of it. He's got a giant wrench in his hand, so he whacks Parker Boudreau in the ribs, takes him out. And then we get, to be honest, a really, really good match between Dustin and Swerve here. Swerve causes Dustin to get busted open at one point up against the barricade. Did you see the spot that busted him open? Because I kind of missed it. I just looked up and saw him bleeding. I heard it was up against the barricade, but is that where it was from?
I did admittedly miss the exact spot that he got busted open
Yeah.
on.
I'm not sure we were meant to see it. I think they cut it, but
I think they did too because I was eating, so I
Yeah.
looked down. I was having some dessert, and I looked down. I was eating my cake, and then I looked back up, and it was like, oh, he's bleeding. Oh shit.
Yeah, so and he was bleeding pretty good, and I think that really added to the match here. Dustin wearing the old crimson mask when half his face was already painted red anyway. The other half was quickly painted red along with it. And the coach says Dustin is a legend in the chat, and that's absolutely true. And he says so underrated. Is Dustin underrated? I feel like he gets his credit, doesn't he?
I think Dustin's underrated. I would consider.
Yeah,
him underrated.
I think I would agree with it too.
I mean, like Dustin's been wrestling for 36 years across 5 different decades, which is insane. No, I think that a lot of the times Dustin gets not forgotten about, but like I would put Dustin in the same category as I think Dustin's better than Billy Gunn, but I like kind of with Billy Gunn. If you look back on Billy's career, it's like yeah, people remember DX, but like Billy, extremely underrated. I mean, the guy is a great worker. Now, again, I would put Dustin way above Billy Gunn personally, but I mean, it's
Dude,
he's underrated.
You want to do an AEW like veterans tier list?
I mean, we could do that. I mean, we have to do an updated AEW tier list anyway. At some point, I want to do. Honestly, believe it or not, I want to do a WWE superstar tier list as well.
Okay, a WWE one?
Just because, just to give my thoughts on the roster.
You just want to be able to put Cody in the F category. That's all you want to do that for.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, here's the thing. I could see it now. We're doing the tier list, and it's like there's only 2 left. It's Cody Rhodes and Madcap Moss. And I'm like, well, one of these guys is going in F, and it's not Madcap Moss.
I'm so glad that's the first thing that came to my mind.
I'm like, Madcap Moss, I'll give him the D. Cody Rhodes, that's an F for me, dog.
Oh, that's funny. So this was great, man. After Dustin gets busted open, we get a spot here where Swerve hits the house call, which a lot of you guys know is one of my favorite moves in AEW. And Dustin kicks out of this thing in a half a second. Not even a full second. Like Swerve goes to pin him, grabs the leg, and he kicks out immediately. And the crowd goes fucking wild. And so did I. I like jumped out of my seat. I was like, let's go. And Dustin, he kind of does the whole Hulk up thing, I guess you would say. He hits a nasty pile driver, but only gets a 2 count. Hits 2 crossroads, and Parker Boudreau interferes in the match, pulls him out of the ring, and we get one of the first DQs that I'm pretty sure of 2023, right? Mm-hmm. And I can't remember the last DQ that we had.
It's a rare thing for them, and that's why it's acceptable. I think it worked really well. I thought it was great. Obviously you don't really want to see a DQ finish, but it's such a rarity in AEW. Like you said, I can't remember the last time they did a DQ.
No, and I think it worked here. I think it actually worked here.
Yeah,
because it doesn't happen often, if not, it's extremely rare that this happens. So it really created the heat that you wanted to get on these guys. The crowd was definitely like just not happy with these two. They pull out the cinder block, put Dustin's head on the cinder block like they were gonna do the Swerve stomp, and Keith Lee's music hits, and man, it was kind of like a light bulb over my head. Just a split second before his music hit, I was like, Keith Lee, and it was exactly what I wanted. It was exactly what Rampage needed, and man, Keith Lee, it was great the way that they did this camera. They kept showing the ramp, no Keith Lee, his music was still playing. They showed the ring, the guys were waiting for him like, come on. And then from behind them, Keith Lee just rises out of nowhere. And he's got this new grayish, whitish hair. I don't, whatever, he still looked like a monster. and he absolutely annihilated these two, and this was fantastic. I freaking loved this.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Thought it was really well done. It's good to see Keith Lee back. I guess he's what happened to Trench. You would have to assume Keith Lee took Trench out.
That's a good point, because I think we forgot to mention that. Before the match, Swerve had said that Trench had been missing all week, wouldn't answer any phone calls, and nobody knew where Trench was. And he accused Dustin of having something to do with it. So I think that's a great point. Must have been Keith Lee. Now, do you think Trench just wasn't here, or you think they've given up on the old tattooed fella?
Oh, they haven't given up on. I would be very surprised for them to have given up on him before they really even get a chance to get off the ground.
I was gonna say he's never even had a match, has he? Has he been on any darks that I missed?
No.
No, I don't think so.
That this was done intentionally because you wanted to have Keith Lee kind of show up and be dominant, and I think that they don't want it to be. They don't, and it's smart because you don't want Keith to destroy the entire trio by himself, because it's probably going to end up with him enlisting help, maybe Dustin, maybe someone else. I don't know. I kind of think that what they could do, and this is just what I would do, I would say have Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes enlist the help of, let's say, Lance Archer, because we haven't seen him in a minute.
I haven't seen him in a while. That'd be nice.
I would say let's get the three of those guys feuding with the Mogul affiliates. I think that could be a pretty good storyline.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that.
But yeah, no, this was great. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good episode of Rampage. I gotta say. I would say I enjoyed Rampage this week more than Dynamite. I would say that.
Yeah, and back to the whole disqualification thing. Like, imagine if you didn't watch this and you asked a friend how was it, and you were like, "Yo, there was a DQ finish on the main event." You'd be like, "What?" You know what I mean? Like, because that shit doesn't happen.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. It just they don't do it. And again, it's okay to do these things. It's
when you do it properly, absolutely.
You do them. If you do a DQ finish every other week, it just doesn't matter. It's not a relevant way to have your matches go down. But here, it makes sense. They never do DQ finishes, and it makes everybody looks great doing it. Parker looks like a smart henchman because he actually, saw that Swerve was in danger and helped him. They don't care about winning the match. They just want to hurt Dustin, so it's okay to do that. It protects Swerve. It protects Dustin. Everybody looks great. And it's okay.
Yeah. I thought it was a great finish for Rampage. Now, here's something that bothers me. You mentioned it was better than Dynamite, which I do actually think I think I did enjoy it better than Dynamite. Mm-hmm. But I saw somebody who had like a weird rating system where they give it like a percentage out of 100, right? And they gave Dynamite a 60%. That's like a D in, if we got a 60% on a math test. There's no way in hell that Dynamite was a D. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Or if you're Forrest, it's a B.
That's, yeah.
It's an
wow.
inside joke.
Yeah. Okay.
Podcast, let's make sure you come around and hang out with us on Monday nights.
All right.
But
all right, so I know you mentioned it in Discord there. Tony Khan has a big announcement next week. They usually don't say anything like this unless we do have something pretty big. What's your prediction here for the big announcement next week?
I want to underwhelm people, but I think it's the announcement for the release date for Fight Forever.
Okay, for me, I would not call that a big announcement.
I wouldn't either, but I'm
sorry.
What could it be? I mean,
so for me, I'm saying I wouldn't call it a big announcement, but I would still be happy with it if that makes sense.
Sure.
I actually think it's Thunder Rosa is returning. We got a story that Thunder Rosa, when she was doing commentary, how you had mentioned, she was doing the Spanish commentary. She had a meeting with the female roster, and she kind of apologized to everybody. I'm wondering if maybe we get an announcement that Thunder Rosa is returning, maybe.
Well, my follow-up would be, why would Tony Khan announce Thunder Rosa's returning?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't think it's Thunder Rosa.
A new signing, Coog says?
Well, it could. So I mean, they could go that route. I mean, it really depends. I wanted to talk a little bit later in the show about Jay White, Kenny Omega free agency stuff. But I mean, there's a chance Jay White might be available next week. So maybe.
Dude, the
Maybe.
Jay White and Eddie Kingston feud that is going on. If you haven't seen it, it's FTW with Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, right?
Yeah, dude, it was a great. Well, it wasn't. Meltzer wasn't on. It was Alvarez and Mike Sempervive.
Yes.
Um,
Alvarez and Mike Sempervive. Thank you. Sorry about that.
yeah, but it was really good. It was a really good back and forth between the two of them, and it turns into a loser leaves New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know,
Dude,
Jay White lost a loser leaves Japan match, so Jay White can no longer compete in New Japan,
yeah.
in Japan, but he can still compete in New Japan America, the United States.
Yes.
But I mean, Eddie Kingston's gonna pick up the win there, I think, on Saturday night.
The way that they did that interview, so they were interviewing Jay White first, and they had it seem as if Eddie Kingston called in and he jumped into the interview and was like, "Yeah, keep talking, clown, make me laugh." That was absolute genius, the way that they went about that call and how they added Eddie Kingston to the call. If you haven't heard this, I definitely recommend it. They're doing an interview with Jay White. He's in full character. Eddie Kingston calls in and basically interrupts the interview and just starts talking so much shit to Jay White. I thought this was amazing. So there's going to be a stipulation where Jay White can never wrestle in New Japan Wrestling again if he defeats Eddie. If Eddie defeats him, and if he defeats Eddie, Eddie can never compete in New Japan Wrestling again unless he gets permission from Jay White. So that's going to be a wild match. I can't wait to see. Do you know where that match is taking place?
Yeah, it's taking place in San Jose, near the coach's neck of the woods. Yeah, New Japan's got their San Jose show
The dojo.
on Saturday night. I gotta see what my work schedule looks like for Sunday, because I might actually get the show on Fight TV. It's gonna be a really good show. They have, obviously, Mercedes is facing Kyrie for the women's championship. Okada versus Tanahashi for the world title. Like, that sounds amazing. I want to watch that. In general, it looks like a pretty good card. I think having Jay White and Eddie Kingston on there too is going to make the show that much better. But I don't know. I mean, in terms of major announcements, I mean, unless it's something completely out of left field, it could be the Ring of Honor TV schedule, which obviously on Twitter we already know about, but maybe they want to make an official announcement, like Ring of Honor on Thursday nights starting March 2nd. Like, maybe that's the way they go with it. I don't know.
Coach says that's 8.5 hours away. It's basically in Mexico. It is a far drive. California is crazy long.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so excellent episode of Rampage. What did they line up for us on Dynamite? Did you get that? Did you get that lined up?
It did. All right. Well, this coming Wednesday night on Dynamite, we will have the Battle Royal, the Tag Team Battle Royal, to determine the first team going against the Guns and the Acclaimed in the four-way dance. Added to the match right now, so there was basically two announcements made. One of them is Aussie Open will be in the Battle Royal. So
Yeah.
that's cool. But other than Aussie Open, Top Flight, Ari Daivari and Tony Nese, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, 2.0, Butcher and Blade, Lucha Bros, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, and LFI, Preston Vance and Roosh. And Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta.
Go Lucha Bros.
Now they said something weird on commentary tonight, which I'm a little wondering. I don't know if maybe they're just saying who's going to have entrances on TV, but this should be a regular Battle Royal. This isn't the casino one. But they said that the last three teams to enter, I don't know if they meant enter as in like into the Battle Royal, but they said the last three teams to enter will be Lucha Brothers, LFI, and Aussie Open. So I don't know if they meant enter as in like these are the three teams to get in. I assume that's what they meant, but it was a very weirdly worded thing that they said on TV.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Also for next Wednesday, Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta for the All Atlantic Championship. Excuse me. The Guns are calling in a favor with the Firm because they're part of the Firm. The Acclaimed will be taking on Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. We will
Big
hear
Bill?
from Christian Cage. Tony Schiavone will be interviewing him about his return to AEW. We will have a major announcement from Tony Khan. Sky Blue will be taking on Saraya. John Moxley versus Evil Uno. We will hear from Bryan Danielson. And then we have one match announced next Friday for Rampage. It's Action Andretti versus Sammy Guevara.
Awesome, man. That sounds like a pretty decent lineup. That'll be our go home show for Revolution, isn't it? Or do we get one more? No, we get one more, right?
No, it's not the go home show. We have two more shows before.
Yeah, two more.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any news going around on the old interwebs that you want to throw out to the world here? Or are we all?
Well, Fed fans like Kenny Omega now, so that's fun.
Oh, I know. They're like, oh, Kenny's coming, and I'm like, what does it matter with y'all? You're crazy.
Yeah, they hated Kenny Omega. They hated him, and now they love him because they think he's coming to WWE. Excuse me. I don't think he's going to WWE.
Why on earth would he be going to WWE? Is there something I'm missing?
Well, so it's kind of a big web where his contract's coming up. Even though there's speculation that his contract can be extended because of all the injured time he's had, which Tony Khan can do if he wants to.
Of course he would.
A lot of people speculate it comes down to CM Punk. As we've been talking about, we are getting close to the time where Punk will be ready to return. And Tony has a decision to make there. Wrestling Twitter kind of blew up this morning because somebody tweeted at Chris Jericho. You know, Jericho is he responds to a lot of his fans when they tweet at him. And the fan was basically watching Punk versus Jericho at WrestleMania a few years back. And Chris Jericho says, I always loved working with CM Punk. ... Which, I mean, I take that as, oh yeah, CM Punk's coming back. Because,
yeah.
The word
I posted
Jericho
that,
had a huge problem with it, but the way Jericho talks there, the periods at the end kind of make you think otherwise, that he's not going to have an issue with it. So a lot of the speculation is that will Kenny and the Bucks, who are all coming up on their contracts, are they going to feel some sort of way if Punk comes back, if Tony Khan lets Punk come back? It's all speculation at this point. We don't know for sure. But the idea going around is that, you know, if the money's right, and clearly Triple Paul would book them somewhat favorably, I wouldn't say good, but I mean,
Time
I
out.
think he will.
They had the Australian Kenny Omega on their roster, and they let him go. What makes you think they would book him right?
I don't think they'd book him right, but I'm just saying what they might think. For them, they might look at it as they know that WWE will pay them. And the big rumor going around is that WWE is preparing to pass up on Jay White because they're chasing a bigger free agent, and they do think, in terms of sources inside the company, that they have a very good chance to land Kenny Omega.
They have a better chance of getting Will Ospreay. Sorry, way better chance.
I hear you. And I really, at the end of the day, I don't think Kenny Omega goes to WWE. I don't think the Bucks go to WWE. Especially.
Have you ever seen the video of Paul Heyman showing up on stage and handing Will Ospreay a contract for WWE?
No.
That shit happened like 5 years ago, and then nothing came of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you. I do hear you. The thing you got to remember is we are in the middle of a wrestling war. Anyone who tells you otherwise is either naive or stupid. That's just a fact.
Coog says the Fed booked him wrong as a fan. That's great.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know, man. I think that the Bucks and Kenny need to understand that, like, there's a lot of money to be made there. There's a lot of money to be made. The CMFTR versus the Elite, like, that's just a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of spotlight. I think that the Elite are right now. I think they're working with House of Black, and I could honestly, I could see CM Punk getting involved towards the end of this feud and costing the Elite the Trios titles, and that kind of turns into this huge feud. And have it be where it's like it's not about the titles, it's just about like we fucking hate each other.
Yo, imagine the House of Black get their shot, and we have a huge House of Black versus the Elite match for the titles.
Mhm.
At the end of the match, CM Punk's music hits, and all of the Elite are just staring up the ramp like, what the hell? No. And boom, they lose.
I mean, I hope that I still kind of maintain the hope and the thought that it is to a major extent a work. Part of me wonders, and I understand what all the dirt sheets say. I get it. Part of me wonders if when Punk got hurt, right? Part of me wonders like, hey guys, I'm about to be out for like 7 months. Like, let's do this.
Make everyone hate my guts.
Yeah, but it's like I'm about to be out for 7 months. Like, let's start this storyline that we were gonna do next year. Like, let's get it kickstarted now to build up some heat while I'm off TV.
Yep.
Obviously that's a long shot, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if Punk got hurt and he's in the doctor's room and they're like, well, we need some x-rays, but it's looking like it could be on the shelf. Maybe they did. Maybe they were like, hey, like let's fake a locker room fight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Never know, man. Could have all been a work, but we've been told
Again,
otherwise.
we've talked about it over the months, but there's so many things that if you look back on it, it just sounds too perfect. Like, of course, FTR weren't in the building when it all went down.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the head of legal was in the room when it happened.
Yeah.
Of course, the dog got hit by the door. Like, of course, and it just like, of course, Tony Khan was busy during a media scrum and couldn't do anything. Like, there's so many things you can look at and just be like, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. That's convenient as hell. I don't know. We'll see. I am kind of maintaining hope. I think that Jericho's tweet today, and then JR retweeted it. I just see it as like, I think he's coming back, and I think that Kenny and the Bucks.
Dude, they said the best in the world like 9 times on Wednesday.
They did. They did. And I don't know. I think it'll work out. I'm not super worried about Kenny or the Bucks leaving. And I mean, if you're Tony Khan, that is a hell of a dilemma. If it's real, if it's a shoot, it's not a work. I mean, you got to prioritize Kenny and the Bucks over CM Punk. I mean, you have to. At least I think so.
You have to prioritize keeping them both. You have to do that at all costs.
Absolutely, you should prioritize keeping the Elite and CM Punk. But if you can only keep one, if it really comes down to it, I would prioritize keeping the Elite. I think that they are they are the E in AEW. Like, that's
true.
You can't have the company without the Bucks and Kenny, and not even in a on-screen capacity, even in a backstage capacity. Like, these guys are the EVPs; they're helping run the company. So, I don't know. Like, the way I look at it, as much as I love CM Punk, AEW was successful before Punk, and it has been successful since Punk has left. I don't think that they need him, but obviously you want to have as much star power on the roster as possible. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the AEW is very heel light right now. I mean, after MJF, you have Roosh, you have Swerve, and then I think it kind of jumps off a cliff there. So,
yeah.
If you could bring in CM Punk and have him be another top heel, I think you could get to work on getting a lot of these young guys over. You can do your money matches still. There's, doing CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, like, that's a money match that they never did. Doing CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson, they never did that match. Like, there were matches that they didn't get to do with CM Punk, and, you want to see it.
Yep, absolutely. I can't wait, man. I just... Give me back my CM Punk. All right, man. You want to go ahead and close us out?
All right. Well, this has been episode 119 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you liked the video and, you were hanging out with us here live, really appreciate it. Make sure you leave a like button, hit the like button, and hit the subscribe button as well on your way out. We are just wrapped up our AEW Rampage Review Show. We also do our AEW Dynamite Review Show after the show on Wednesday. We also do our video game podcast on Monday nights. I think it's called the Game Room
Let's
Podcast. If you
fucking
like video
go!
games, you like wrestling, this is the YouTube channel for you. Please hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, check out some of our other videos. Again, we did talk about Dynamite this past Wednesday and what we thought about it. We weren't super into the show, but it was a good show overall. And then we also talk video games. I think producer Jeff put up the Pokemon tier list as a separate video, so you guys can check that out. Join us in the Discord. Follow us on social media in the description below. You can find our social media links there. But other than that, looking forward to Rampage coming up, where we'll be covering that as well. But till then, see you guys on Monday night.
Right on. See you guys on Monday. Top guys out.